Scottush. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Joey Moss with Bad Boy Gaming. And I got to be honest, I did not see this coming. Now, Wizards of the Coast did make a comment about a month ago. In a nutshell, what they said was there's going to be an increased amount of attention being paid to, I don't know if they said the word tribe or not, but certain synergies that they felt did not work very well in past standards. I took this basically as tribes, you know, like, for example, you have vampires, you have knights, you got elves, all types of stuff. We already know elves are great, knights were great in the past. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, what tribes are going to be crappy? I did not expect it to be this tribe that we're going to talk about. Not only that, but there's a crazy like anti-board wipe kind of thing. It's not a counter spell, because that's anti-board wipe, but something that really helps out if you are to get board wiped, and essentially it only costs one, and it's going to be a saving grace. Let's dive into this. Let's chit-chat. Let's have some fun here. Okay, so first off, we're talking about Invasion of the Giants, which is hot off the press, and also Calamity Bearer, which I think I might have mentioned in another video, but I want to bring it up again because we're going to get into it a little bit. So Invasion of the Giants, very fresh, okay? It's a 2-drop saga. Look at that. It's an uncommon 2-drop saga. Unbelievable. Got to have your blue, got to have your red. Is it really? Yes, you do. Its first is Scry 2. All right. And then second would be draw a card. Then you may reveal a giant card from your hand. When you do, Invasion of the Giants deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Now, I saw on social media some people were a little confused by that. It says draw a card, then you may reveal a giant card from your hand. True, you don't have to, but if you don't, then your Invasion of the Giants does not deal the 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker, okay? So, hope that clears things up. The cool thing about this, you get the Scry 2. And you also, I mean, this is really good for like a combo synergy giant build, in my opinion. And then if you do that, then you get to deal the 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. Well, let's get on the third saga before I get carried away. The third one, the next giant spell you cast this turn costs 2 less to cast. Okay, so if you had something like Calamity Bearer out already, if a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. This does say giants in it, but I don't believe it's a giant source because that's just the name of the card. It's an enchantment saga. So this would really not work with that. So instead of dealing the 2 damage, you're not going to be dealing 4 damage, you know. That wouldn't work that way with this card. If I'm mistaken, by all means, please go ahead. Correct me. I love being corrected, and I will, depending, come back and own up to it. No, I do all the time. So, yeah, it's an interesting card. I think it's great to really get the combo going, you know, to get something like Calamity Bearer online or, you know, or what have you. It's legit. The only, maybe not down, it's not really a downside. I think it's a 2-drop that really gets you where you want to be, okay? So let's talk about some kind of synergy that we have with cards like Giant Berserker here. If a giant source you control would deal damage to a permanent player, it deals double that damage to that permanent player instead. So what giants do we have right now in the current standard, okay? Well, these are new cards we're going to talk about, and I'll mention another one later on, that would, you know, work with this, okay? You got your Gladewalker Ritualist. It's a shapeshifter, which means this card is every creature type, which is legit, okay? So that would definitely help out. You know, you can throw this in your build. That's all I'm saying, okay? And if you're going that heavy with this, then whenever another creature named Gladewalker Ritualist enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So if you go, you know, a playset of this, sure, okay? You can benefit, get some cards around that. You got to be running green. I don't think we're going to be seeing too many green giant builds, okay? Realm Walker is another thing you could do. You could throw this up in the deck. Enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells of the chosen type from the top of your library. I could be wrong about this. Maybe green will be doing something, you know. But this goes for really any tribe. Doesn't matter what it is. Whatever creature type it is, giant, berserker, doesn't matter. Skeleton, whatever, you know. Puppy, dog, who cares? Cat, sure. Okay? It all applies with the old shapeshifter. So then we have something like Surtland Flinger, which I like a lot. And I like it a lot because I like to fling stuff at people. You know, they ever like, I was that kid, like, you know, in middle school, maybe elementary, and I was like, hey, Sarah. You know, all right, anyway, we have fun. Whenever Surtland Flinger attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Certain Flinger deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to any target. If the sacrificed creature was a giant, Certain Flinger deals twice that much damage instead. Holy crap. So if you had out your Calamity Bearer along with your Certain Flinger and you sacrifice a giant, what? That should be like ending the game almost kind of stuff, you know? That's really going to deliver a friggin' powerful punch. You got double upon double damage. What? Okay, so yeah, a lot of damage we'll get through there. What else do we got giant-wise? Well, I think one card that's really cool is the Bone Crusher Giant. This one will probably see a lot of play in those giant builds. One, it's a cheap giant, it's a 4/3, but also you can deal with some damage. Now, that Stomp is not going to be doubling the damage. It's a giant card. You'd think all that, but no, it's really just Stomp instant. So the 2 damage is not going to become 4 damage. Not going to double that way, okay? But then on top of that, you have whenever Bone Crusher Giant becomes the target of a spell, Bone Crusher Giant deals 2 damage to that creature controller. So if someone were to actually target this, well, then guess what? You know, you're going to be able to deal 4 damage if you have out that Calamity card. Pretty cool. It's a little, you know, spicer upper there, you know, deals a little bit more damage to him. So if you want to remove this, if you're, you know, the opponent, you're going to pay a little bit more if both cards are out. Then you got Beanstalk Giant. Oh, man, big boy, you know. Just some giants I want to throw out there that let you know the options right now in current standard. So if you did go the green route, I mean, yeah, you could ramp with green easily, you know, and get some giant. You got to go the Changling route because there's not many giants out there. When you think of giants, you really think of like green, don't you? Well, maybe just I do because of the whole Beanstalk Giant thing. Yeah, that's probably where I'm at. All right, I'm lost in fairy tales. Anyway, Realm Cloak Giant is another one with the board wipe built into it, which is pretty cool. So you can use the cast off sorcery, you know, adventure, or you can go the, you know, well, you will eventually go the giant route. 7/7 vigilance, pretty cool. But none of that really is too impressive. Where I think this is going to shine the most is going to be something along these lines here. You got your Croxet Titan of Death's Hunger. It is a giant. You're going to be, well, this one says loses 3 life. Forgive me. I'm just reading that now. They would lose 3 life. You're not going to deal the damage of 3 life, so you're not going to get 6 life out of it, okay? I remember it dealt damage, but I forgot it said life loss, which is different than damage. Anyway, moving forward, but that would be probably a good card you'd want to run in this kind of build regardless, okay? Then you got Tectonic Giant, which I think is going to see some sweetness. It would run great. If you're running Giants, you're running a Tectonic Giant in this upcoming standard guaranteed. Because it attacks, becomes a target of a spell an opponent controls, choose 1. Tectonic Giant deals 3 damage to each opponent. Well, that 3 becomes 6 if you got the card that doubles everything out. Pretty legit. Exile, tap 2 cards in your library, blah, 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 play some other stuff. Bone Crusher Giant, all these 3 cards I think would be great. Great little blend your upper, you know. I would like to see some more giants in black. I think we're probably going to get one. I'm not sure what it's going to do, but it will be interesting to see. Moving forward, though, there are other giants. We do have Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Isn't he banned or something? Or they banned stuff around him? Anyway, but Uro's in here. That's right. That'd be great for your card draw, you know, and all that stuff, and getting a whole bunch of stuff out there. Ramping is cool. And then you got stuff like Grasping Giant. Now, the cool thing with Uro is when you do sacrifice one of your creatures, your giants or whatever, that is going to help out because eventually you're going to use that escape and Uro can come back. So you're kind of filling your graveyard when you're sacrificing your giants and flinging them at people's faces. You know what I'm saying? Right, Sarah? Okay. And then you have Grasping Giant, which is really not a part of standard. I mean, it might see some play, though. Ooh, I don't know. You know, it could. Whenever Grasping Giant becomes blocked by a creature, exile that creature until Grasping Giant leaves the battlefield. Kind of cool. Hard to get rid of this thing. It's a 6-drop, you know, and it attacks in. Oh, sorry, you really can't block that. We're just going to exile that instead. Which is legit. So you'd have to, like, destroy it or something, you know. But that's also cool to fling at someone's face. Then you got Thrix, the Sudden Storm, 5-drop. You know, this thing will reduce the casting cost of all your giants. Well, not all of them, but most of them, you know, because most giants do have a casting cost of 5 or greater to get on the field. Well, we will see. I don't know if it's going to be a time for this card to shine. Oh, who knows? But, you know, the whole Is It thing with that first card we saw with the Scry 2 and then the draw card and then et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you'll find a Thrix, the Sudden Storm in that kind of build. Possibly. It would make sense to me. Then we close this one out with the Giants with Certain Elementalist, which is another giant, so wizard. Additional cost to cast a spell, reveal a giant card from your hand or pay 2. It's a big cost, and it's not getting any cheaper. Well, with some other cards, yes, it will. Whenever certain land elementalist attacks, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. That could be pretty cool. Then you got Yorvo, Green Giant. Again, this would be ran in your Green Giant build. Probably, I would assume green-red, probably the way to go. Gruul or nothing. A lot of fun. Get them really big and tall. Whatever. Cool. Then you got Crystalline Giant, which is interesting. Because Crystalline Giant is just a threat. If this thing goes unchecked for like 3 turns, you have a monster on your hands you don't want to deal with. And the more +1/+1 counters you can dump on Crystalline Giant, the better. Because it just becomes a really nasty threat. You got your Hexproof, your Death Touch, your First Strike, whatever the case may be. It gets really out of control. So fun to think about. But then also we have, lastly, Shatter Skull. Did I skip a card? Yeah, probably. Scatter Skull. No, we went over everything there. We're good. Shatter Skull Charger. 3-drop. This, I was wondering, what the heck? Why did they print this card? Like when it first came out, the last set, I was like, huh? But now it all makes sense with the whole giant tribal. I think giants are going to be a giant threat in standard, It's got the kicker for Deuce, Trample, and Haste. Pretty cool. If you just cast it without paying the kicker cost, then it's just a 4/3, basically. But if you cast it with the kicker cost being paid for 5, then this thing comes down, which you could also now, don't forget, you can cheat this into play. I wonder if it reduces the kicker cost, though. We already know you can reduce at least 1 colorless of the casting cost. If we already use that other card that reduces giant spells by 2, I wonder if... No, I don't think it would apply to kicker, though. Someone help me out there. I don't believe it would apply, though. But, yeah, if it was kicked, enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it, so now you got a 5/4, pretty legit. But if it wasn't kicked, then you got to end up, putting it back into your hand at the end, which is kind of, if it doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it. So you can move +1/+1 counters and put it on this. There's a lot of crazy, like everything I'm saying right now, there's so much craziness going on in my mind that I can vision like just different kind of strategies and decks and counters and just all types of nuts, man. I can't wait for the set to drop just to try some stuff out. But yeah, with Calamity Bearer, it's just a whole freaking roundhouse to the face. We're going to see exactly what it does, but something to be excited about. Moving forward, we have Rise of the Dread Marn. This thing is anti-board wipe, man. And at first glance, let's just read what it does. For 3, it's an instant. Oh, yes. Create X/2/2 Black Zombie Berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. Let's read that one more time. Create X/2/2 Black Zombie Berserker creature tokens, where X is the number of non-token creatures that died this turn. It doesn't say anything about being your creatures that died this turn. It just says any creatures. So let's say your opponent was to board wipe you, or something. Well, guess what? You're going to get, they board whip yourself too. Maybe they have 1 creature out. They're just running a bunch of Shatter the Skies. What do? They only have like 1 creature out there doing whatever the case may be. You're going to get that token, a 2/2, for their creature that they ended up having to lose, because if they don't, they're going to lose the game because they can't deal with your creatures. So you get that plus the creatures that you lost. It's pretty cool. I think this is a hefty spell. What makes it even better is it's got Foretell built into it, which for 1 black mana during your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand, face down. Cast it on a later turn for its Foretell cost. You can play this later on for just 1. What? So they end up using a Shatter this guy. They end up killing one of their creatures. You end up losing 3 of your creatures. You play this for 1, and now you have 4 black 2/2 zombie creature tokens on the battlefield, ready to go. I think that's pretty cool. I think this card's going to see a heck ton of play. However, actually, it's the next slide after this one. Let's talk about what this card reminds me of. It reminds me of traps. You guys remember traps? Well, if you don't remember traps, let's go over traps. So this is the stuff. You got Archive Trap, Ravenous Trap, Summoning Trap, all trap. Whole bunch of traps going on here. Yeah, this was from a long time ago, but they got reprints recently, yada yada. So an example, Archive Trap: an opponent searches her library this turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay Archive Trap's mana cost. Target opponent puts blah 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 blah. Okay, so it's kind of like you did this. Well, here's the cost of doing that. A lot of traps said 0 on it though. So it wouldn't cost you anything. You have it in your hand, you can play it, like that. Or, you could wait for a certain stipulation to be met. In this case, it's something like Shatter the Sky. That would be the stipulation that would end up being met. Shatter the Sky. Each player who controls a creature with 4 power, who cares? Destroy them. Destroy all creatures is all we care about, okay? So then if they were to do that, you already paid the deuce. It's like your opponent knows, though, right? You may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down. Oh, yeah, they wouldn't even know. But, I mean, if you're running black, they're probably going to assume. Plus, if you pay, well, I guess they're all 2, right? During your upkeep, you may pay 2. I think it's like that for all foretell cards. You pay 2. Because if it was like 3 on some of them and 4 on others and 1 on the, then I think your opponent would have an edge and know exactly what you're doing. But if you're running black, I'm pretty sure they already know. Oh, I'm going to pay 2. All right, I'm going to put this on. All right, Bobby, I already know you got a Rise of the Dreadmarn. You know, like, so something like Shatter the Sky might not even be that relevant in this upcoming standard. I mean, it's even not that relevant right now. I mean, let's be honest here. It's not even that relevant right now. So I think more along the line, something like Extinction Event would cause a bigger, commotion. I think this Extinction Event will be a much more relevant card. Choose odd or even, exile each creature with converted mana cost of the chosen value. Guess what? If it gets exiled, it didn't die. Like if you were to exile someone, to a freaking island, they didn't die. They're just in exile. They're long gone. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so yeah, you're not actually killing a creature with Extinction Event. You're just putting them away in this bin of exile. Okay, we'll see you. So Rise of the Dreadmarn, really, really cool card. I am excited to run and play it, and it's going to branch out in other formats for sure. How powerful will it be? I don't know, because, if you're going up in Modern or something, or even if you're playing, I think a lot of people are going to know if you're running Rise of the Dreadmarn in your Commander deck, or in whatever deck. Oh, yeah, you got black. Oh, you paid 2. What do you... Okay, bro. All right, nice Marn. Kind of like one of those deals. So, really cool card. We're going to have a heck ton of fun with it. I'm going to have a heck ton of fun with it. I hope you guys are going to have a heck ton of fun with it too. But I think this is really a pretty impressive card. There are some downsides like foretell. Well, we can all foretell that you're playing that card. Kind of one of those deals. But that wraps it up, man. Just a quick little, in their little wastebasket over there. Just, hook, line, sinker. Maybe a basketball hoop would be a better analogy. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I am going to also announce who's taking home that sweet freaking expedition in the next video. So stick around for that. Sorry about the content this week. I was not available. I had some rather important things to take care of. And I will tell you this. Once these important things are all out of the way, Joey Moss is going to be freaking dropping at least 2 videos a day. An average of 3 times a week, I'll be doing that. On average, sometimes 3 freaking videos a week. Or a day, I'm sorry. So a lot of excitement. If you guys enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button and make sure the bell is hit and turn on notifications. If you made it this far, say, I can't believe you said all those amazing things. Skadoosh!